This is a president who continues to deliver results, and there are people who are working against him, and that is the act of a scumbag.
That's Stephanie Grisham, the president's new press secretary, who, up to the date this video was published, has more DUIs under her belt than she does press conferences. I'm comedian Andy Haynes, a person who has one less DUI than Stephanie Grisham and has held the same amount of White House press conferences. There's some confusion in the press about where Grisham was born, which makes a lot of sense now that I think about it. The New York Times says she was born in Arizona, while the Washington Post reports Colorado. So she either lied to one or both of these outlets, or the blundering fake news media got it wrong. I'm gonna guess Grisham would say it's the latter. Either way, she was born. The early days of her career were spent in Arizona. Grisham was the spokesperson for AAA, the Roadside Assistance Association, which offers amongst its services in Arizona a tipsy tow ride, providing a free trip home and vehicle tow for impaired drivers. Grisham, unfortunately, didn't take advantage of this service in 2013 and was pulled over for driving under the influence. She was pulled over once again in 2015 for another DUI, but she'd soon find other ways to reframe the mundane. Grisham reportedly left AAA after facing allegations of filing false claims for travel and other expenses. She went on to work at an ad agency called Mindspace, where she was fired for plagiarizing AAA's website onto a presentation for one of the ad agency's clients. After plagiarizing and filing fraudulent claims, Grisham made the obvious next step and joined the world of politics. Grisham's political career got off to a rocky start, too. In 2012, she volunteered for Trump critic and failed presidential candidate Mitt Romney's campaign. She would later berate Romney on state TV, Fox News.
One word comes to mind, it's just pathetic, and I would just remind Mitt Romney that he is not president, he lost.
In 2013, Grisham took a job as the spokesperson for Arizona's Attorney General Tom Horne, a guy who proposed legislation that would arm teachers in Arizona and also threatened to sue a city in the state for recognizing same-sex marriage. Grisham, who ostensibly condones this stuff, also witnessed the badly botched execution of an incarcerated person while working for Horne. Joseph Wood, the incarcerated person, was given a lethal injection which was supposed to kill him. It did, 2 hours later. According to an AZ Central reporter who witnessed the execution, Wood gasped for air over 600 times in the span of 2 hours. An Associated Press reporter who also witnessed the death backed up the claim. According to Esquire, it took Wood so long to die that his lawyers were still filing appeals while he was gasping and snorting on the gurney. However, Grisham claims the 2-hour ordeal was totally fine. She disputed the reports and said, "He just laid there. It was quite peaceful." What Grisham did in her next job would seemingly become the golden ticket to Trump's White House. As the spokesperson for Arizona House Speaker David Gowan, Grisham revoked a reporter's access just hours after a critical story was published. According to the Washington Post, she also asked members of the press to consent to an invasive background check into reporters' addresses, driving records, and criminal and civil histories. The Post notes, journalists could decline, but if they did, they would be banned from the state's House floor, which was the only place to reliably buttonhole lawmakers. So of course, in 2015, Grisham was tapped to work as a press aide for the former pizza spokesman himself, Donald Trump. Grisham took an unpaid leave from the Arizona House, but she still cashed in on behalf of taxpayers, who she now really cares about.
So now they've moved on to something else, which nothing will come of that. And at the end of the day, the taxpayers and the American citizens are who are going to suffer.
After the former steak salesman won the election, Grisham was supposed to return to her full-time job as spokesperson for the Arizona House of Representatives, but she didn't. She still got paid, though. According to the AZ Capital Times, Arizona taxpayers paid Grisham roughly $19,000 over an 8-week period. Although she rarely set foot in the state, never showed up for work at the House, and did little to nothing to earn the money, the records show. She reportedly spent this time working on Trump's thank you tour prior to the inauguration. But hold on, she did travel to Arizona once for Thanksgiving. Oh, but the House was actually closed that weekend. Grisham finally cut ties with Arizona taxpayers and continued to work for former White House Easter Bunny and soon-to-be Dancing with the Stars loser, Sean Spicer, and his rhetoric.
You had someone as despicable as Hitler who didn't even sink to using chemical weapons.
Later, Melania plucked her from the West Wing and moved her east. As Melania's communication director, Grisham helped the First Lady with the launch of the Be Best campaign, which aims to combat cyberbullying, or literally what her husband does every single day. The official booklet promoting the initiative was criticized for plagiarizing an Obama-era booklet, which would be Grisham's third encounter with accusations of plagiarism, including Melania's RNC speech. Really, it's a plagiarism hat trick with this one. Think of Stephanie Grisham as the Lionel Messi of plagiarism. When pressed by Fox News about expanding the program to adults, Grisham explained how time works.
Well, I would argue that children are going to be adults. That's our next generation. So she's starting with them. And by the time they grow up, we're going to have a really great, responsible, happy, kind online world.
I guess you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Of nearly 12,000 tweets the president has sent since taking office, nearly half of them attacked someone or something, with another 1,700 promoting conspiracy theories.
In June, President Trump plucked Grisham from the East Wing and moved her back to the West. She continues to work on behalf of Melania in the same role, but seemingly because the president needs more possibly plagiarized spin, Grisham was named White House press secretary and his communications director. 3 full years into her career at the White House, Grisham claimed Obama staffers left notes of discouragement on their way out.
We came into the White House, I'll tell you something. Every office was filled with Obama books. And we had notes left behind that said, "You will fail. You aren't going to make it."
Really?
Yes. In the press office, there was a big note taped to a door that said, "You will fail."
However, the Obama staffers who Grisham claimed left harsh notes of discouragement actually had the receipts. One letter was directly written to the new press secretary to the First Lady, which is Stephanie Grisham. It read in part, "Welcome to the small family of White House staffers, past and present. The bond we all share transcends politics. I want you to know that I am always available if you have questions, just as Mrs. Bush's staff was for us. No question is too big or too small." After a slew of Obama staffers showed their notes of encouragement, Grisham walked back her claims. "I certainly wasn't implying every office had that issue," she said. Up to the date this video was published, Grisham has yet to address the American people from the White House press room. She has, though, frequently addressed Fox News viewers since taking that post.
The president did nothing wrong. The president did nothing wrong. Again, this president is absolutely transparent in that there was nothing that he did that was wrong.
Who knows if Grisham will ever hold a press conference? And when she does, it's unclear how much of it will probably be plagiarized. But until then, she'll continue to cash taxpayer-funded checks doing the easiest job in Washington: nothing.
Hey, thanks for watching Who Is? Did you know we have a podcast now too? On Who Is, the podcast, I'll dive deep into the fascinating lives of the people who run things, whose decisions impact every aspect of our lives. How did they get where they are today? And knowing that, what might they do next? From politicians to the ultra-rich, to military contractors and monarchs and media moguls, I'll introduce you to the reporters and experts who know these real-life world molders best. Sharp-eyed observers and confidants who observe our subjects as they make the decisions that define our everyday lives. To see more, hit the link or search Who Is on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts. And for more of the video series you know and love, be sure to check out the Snapchat versions and our series playlists on YouTube and Facebook.